Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I will be reviewing the most popular and most talked about wheelbase of the last year, being the Fanatec GT DD Pro. It has taken me a while and I am aware that 1001 YouTubers already reviewed it, but it couldn't be absent on my repertoire. The set is also the most expensive one I will test, with perhaps the exception of the Thrustmaster DD that will be released someday. As you might have guessed, it is the top of the middle segment for the force feedback steering wheels. The design of the base is impressive, very compact and very black with the Fanatec logo on the front and a brand name on the sides. Design wise it's neutral, nothing sticking out as wow and nothing really going against it. Perhaps here I will give my usual "it could use some red stripes" comment. The base feels very heavy. This is a massive piece of hardware, the base itself. The base is made entirely out of aluminium, minus the front, which makes it a very large heatsink. It can even cool the 8 Nm version without active cooling. This of course also provides for a very silent base, ideal for usage in the proximity of partners and sleeping kids. There is also a decent quick release system present on this base, which is remarkably easy to use. The peripherals are connected via RJ12 connectors to the base and it can be attached to your racing rig with 4 bolts, so it is well secured. So the wheel is something very different. It's made of a plastic. That was no surprise because I already saw that. But the quality of it seems to remind me of another wheel that I tested, the Thrustmaster T150. When I first saw the 28 cm wheel on photo, it didn't look that bad, and based on the things I read and had seen of previous rims of Fanatec, I expected it to be, different. So you have all the buttons on the steering wheel. This is required by Polyphony Digital or Sony, I don't know, one of the two, but it is required to have all the buttons on the steering wheel, which makes this a very cluttered wheel. The thing that annoyed me most was the 5 directional joysticks. Such an overkill that could have been implemented completely different. The colors too, not a fan, and the quality of the buttons is nothing to write home to either. It has a display though, which is nice. You have like how fast you're how fast you're going. So my point about displays is made with the previous clip. The display is an eye catcher to be sure, but during races useless. It does however let you configure the base options, and that is handy. The ref lights are too close to the body for me to really matter. Clickers are very silent. Much more silent than I would have thought. It's like tick 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 tick. Very silent. And again, a positive point for the family aspect of this set. I tend to upload videos of the sounds various flappy pedals make, and this one is by far the most quiet. The pedals are made entirely out of steel and they are absolutely solid. The distance between the pedals can be set, as can the faces. Braking and acceleration are measured by 12-bit Hall sensors, and a PU foam cone is built in to give the braking a more realistic feeling. One thing I don't like at all for the pedals is that the faces are made of hard plastic instead of rubber or metal. Another small point is that there are only 2 pre-drilled holes for attaching them. In all, I was able to attach them with 3 bolts to my fabulous GT Omega R chair. Steering, on the other hand, is superb. Snappy. Very snappy, very precise. So it is the first time I use a direct drive system, so I didn't really know what to expect. Since I have started sim racing, I have been seeing all sort of comments that it is superior to every other technology on the market. I found the CSL Elite to be already a very, very decent wheelbase. Yes, of course, this is direct drive. And yes, you feel the difference. This was indeed what I expected from it. Due to the lack of an extra carrier, being gears or a belt, the motor directly drives the steering wheel. Because this motor is also a very decent one, it provides you with a fluent and instant force feedback. I couldn't feel any imperfections during the ride. Clean force feedback. Very clean force feedback. That is how viewer Wegatron would describe the force feedback, and that is a perfect encapsulation for the feeling you get when driving this wheelbase. Germaneering at its best. The version I am testing is the 5 Nm version, and although it is sufficient for me, I can imagine more people, since they are already spending a lot on this, to go for the 8 Nm version. I would also recommend this option for the more competitive drivers. When it costs €700, okay, you expect for it to be decent, but it is a decent steering wheel. When Fanatec revealed the price for its steering wheel, social media went ballistic. Such pricing for a direct drive system was unheard of and brought the technology in the mid-segment and thus more in reach of a broader audience. However, there are 2 things that I would like to point out. The pedals are okay. Nothing spectacular. You make concessions on the package. The €700 buys you a very mediocre set of pedals. They are not bad, but it took me longer than expected to get used to the braking with them. Another concession is the rim itself. Qualitatively not what I expected. It feels cheap and frankly not pleasant to drive with. And then the other thing. Lastly, I drove the Fanatec CSL Elite for PS4 and seeing it pop up on the second-hand sites for €400 with a decent rim, I don't really see the added €300 value in the GT DD Pro to upgrade to from a CSL Elite. Perhaps Fanatec realized that too, and that can be a reason why they discontinued that base. Who knows? In all, the GT DD Pro is an upgrade for every wheelbase in the mid-segment, but perhaps not such a big one as you might have hoped. A follow-up video for this one will be a side-by-side comparison of the previous official Gran Turismo wheel, being the Thrustmaster TGT and the GT DD Pro. Unless Thrustmaster surprises us all and brings out a DD next week, but I think this event is highly unlikely. Thank you all for watching, don't forget to like if you got something from this, subscribe if you want to see some more content, and I see you all next video.